So I want to ask you a question. What do you want to change in your life? What's one or two or three things that you want to change? In fact, I want to give you a second. I want you to think about that. So pause, stop, just keep doing it while I'm talking here for a few minutes, just adding these filler words. What do you want to change in your life? And then I want to ask you a question. When you look at those changes, what are the words that come into your mind? Because a lot of times I talk to people and they talk about how they would do change, they would do this, they would do that if they thought that they were capable. But I'm not capable of doing that, but I'm not capable of doing it. But I can't do that because I don't have the talent. But I can't do this because I don't have the ability. And my question is always not what are you capable of, but what are you committed to? Because capability comes from commitment. I want to ask you seriously, what is it that you're committed to? Because it isn't about what you're capable of. There are people in every profession, every walk of life, who have had world-class talent capability. And they're sitting on the sidelines because they're too jealous, they're too small-minded, they're not willing to engage in the process of change, which involves failure. They're not willing to get negative feedback. And so they're not committed to the change, and they don't experience the change because they've let the commitment fall aside and relied on their capabilities, and it's fallen off. And then there are other people who they don't ever start the change process because they're worried that they're not capable. But commitment creates capability. When you're committed, you'll find the time to learn. When you're committed, you'll make the time to get better. When you're committed, you will schedule the time to get feedback. I talk to my therapist all the time about this. My therapist is my employee, he's not my personal therapist. No, there's anything wrong with having a personal therapist. I'd encourage that. Do you practice your abilities? Do you practice your counseling skills? Do you practice what you're doing in the room with your client? Because that's commitment. What are you committed to? Do you need to be a better communicator? Are you committed to becoming a better communicator? Do you need to be someone who's more of an encourager? Are you committed to becoming more of an encourager? Do you want to go back to school? Are you committed to that? Do you want to start a business? Are you committed to that? It's not about capabilities. Yeah, we have to look at, okay, what are some things that I'm naturally capable at? And we have to look at those things and we have to make wise decisions. But when we're committed, we often can transcend our own limitations because commitment creates capabilities. I hope that phrase sticks in your head. Commitment creates capabilities. You want to be better at parenting? Be committed to it. You want to be better at your marriage? Be committed to it. You want to be better at work? Be committed to it. But here's the thing, focus. Focus on one, two, or three things and be committed to those things. One of the things that I decided a number of years ago that I was going to commit to was I was going to cut out the noise. I was going to cut out the noise around me. I grew up a person who listened to the noise, who heard the noise. And so I just cut it out. But I had to come back to it because I would fail. But when you fail, it doesn't matter if you're committed. When you're relying on your capabilities, it matters. Because what happens is when you lean into it and you're relying on your capabilities, when you fail, you feel like, well, that's it. I gave it my best shot. Yeah, but did you? What would happen if you came back to it? What would happen if you picked up the baseball bat, stood in the batter's box one more time? For those of you who don't understand sports analogies, what would happen if you grabbed the pen and you started to write one more time? And then if that fails, what would happen if you started one more time? It's not about what you're capable of. I guarantee that. Whatever the change is in your life that you want to facilitate, it's not about your capabilities. It's about your commitment. What are you committed to? Tell me in the comments. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you next time.